All right. Take two.
Take two. Plays the whole intro again. Hi, everyone. This is Seth.
I'm Nick.
That's Nick, my buddy Nick. If you're watching this on my channel, then you don't know who. Well, you hopefully have just watched a video with Nick here, featuring Nick, and this really big project that he undertook. If you're watching this on the Genesius podcast channel, this is a little bonus YouTube featurette.
And please check out the rest of our episodes.
Yes, please check out the rest of our episodes.
We just finished our recording on the Passion of the Christ.
Yes,
One of the best episodes we've ever recorded.
Just really, really good.
So good.
Really good. But yeah, this is a little special thing for the Genesius folks because about a year ago, we were shooting a video. This was a very special project.
So I took on a massive undertaking.
Yeah.
Like this is, so as you know, we are surrounded by Lego sets.
Yes.
In my studio. This is like the studio where we record episodes and where I keep Lego sets in here. This is my Lego room / podcasting studio. But though the one that you are about to see in this video is not actually in here. It is out in the living room, sitting proudly where people will see it the second they walk in.
Yes, and I saw it the second I walked in, and it's as beautiful as ever.
Oh yeah, one year later, and it is still just it's just a sight to behold. I love walking in, and that's one of the first things I see.
Yeah. So Nick, you have not seen the finished video yet.
I have not. This is I've seen the first minute and a half.
Yeah, you've seen the intro segment. So for context. For our viewers, we started this whole project back in December of 2021. I would say actually in like November or October, you told me you were doing this.
Well, I purchased the set in November.
Okay. Yeah. So you were getting it delivered.
And it came actually on Black Friday of 2021. Yeah. And then I waited an agonizing month and a half to build this. Because I told Seth that I would wait to unbox it and start building it for when we would pick a day to put it together.
I promised myself that whenever I found someone knew someone who was going to be building this set, that I wanted to capture the experience because one does not just simply build something like this.
Yeah.
And
in case you don't know what it is already, if you don't mind me running down some stats,
go for it.
This is number 75192. It is the Millennium Falcon, but not just any Millennium Falcon. This is the Ultimate Collector's Edition. The second iteration of the Ultimate Collector's Edition. That released on the 1st of October in 2017. So 5.5 years ago.
How many pieces? How many pieces roundabouts?
It has 7,541 pieces.
Good heavens.
At the time, it was the largest Lego set ever. It has since been topped 3 times.
The Coliseum is one.
It got topped by the Coliseum in 2020. And then it got topped by the Titanic in 2021.
Oh, yeah.
And, well, you know what? I'm not going to even count the world map where you just stick a bunch of little pieces on there. It's 11,000 pieces.
That's a big old mosaic.
Yeah. Right. So I don't count it.
Yeah.
But then in 2022, then just this a few months ago, the Titanic got topped, but it also set a milestone for being 10,001 pieces. It is the Eiffel Tower.
Oh my gosh. How tall is like
5 feet tall.
Holy mackerel.
When I go to the Lego store and like get new sets, like I remember just after it was released, I can't remember what I was getting that day, but I remember walking into the Lego store, and that was the first thing you see. I had to look up. It was sitting on like a platform, maybe about this high. And then you get this 5-foot behemoth.
And they had to build it on that table too, probably. So there must have been like literal scaffolding. Almost.
Yeah, it is like it is insane how huge that thing is.
That's amazing.
It's one where I don't know if I'd want to keep it, but I would definitely want the experience of building it.
How much?
$630.
Really?
Yeah, it's a lot cheaper than you think.
Wow.
But it is also but it is also less expensive than the Millennium Falcon,
Yes.
we are discussing today, which that at the time of its release came out at a whopping $800.
Yes. That's a big boy.
But when inflation happened mid last year,
What is it now?
it's $850.
Okay. Wow. That's impressive.
It is. I am happy I bought that when I did. The AT-AT, which you can see kind of behind Seth here,
Oh, it looks amazing.
also went from $800 to $850. And I snagged that thing before, like, I sang that thing 2 weeks before the price hike.
Well, and I'm checking our monitor feed right now, but viewers, the scale behind me is not really like that. Looks kind of smallish. Trust me, it's massive.
It's 2 feet tall.
It's massive.
It is, yeah, it is like astonishingly large. Like, well, and like even the Star Destroyer behind me is also quite large.
Yeah. All of this to say, Nick very patiently waited for me because I learned he was gonna
It was
be building this.
agonizing. It was
And-
agonizing to wait to build this.
Yes. And I wanted to do this. So we shot this. We did some conceptual shooting in December, which I made a quick little teaser for that I may or may not release because none of the content in it made it into the actual videos. A quick
Sure.
15-second thing. But on a day in early January, this is like January 2nd
Yeah, it was the day
or
after,
something.
it was the day after New Year's of 2022.
It was
When
like,
we had talked about this for weeks.
yes.
And this is not normally a build you try to do in one day.
We were going to do it in one day.
We did it in one day.
We did it. Well,
we
we were like, well, we could do pickups if we need to, but the honest answer is
No.
like, no, you wanted it done, right?
well, there's a time lapse in here.
Yes.
And the only way we were going to actually accomplish doing that was if we did the build portion in one day.
yes.
So,
Now, I want to let you know, there's not
Yeah.
a full time lapse of this build.
well, yes.
There were a couple of different time lapse sequences, but I've kind of learned a bit since then, and I could actually do it now if I wanted to.
Yeah,
but,
and like you came over at what was it, like 6:45 in
yeah,
the
it was
morning?
negative 13 degrees outside. I
Oh,
remember
that's right. I
getting in my
forgot how
car.
cold it
My
was.
car barely starts up. The old Honda Accord just crank into life.
I forgot how cold it was that day.
Yeah, and I
was
actually there's
insane.
some video in my library of me like just struggle busing at like what was it 6 a.m. ish.
It was like so you got here at like 6:45.
Yeah,
And you left at like 11 o'clock at night.
11:30 p.m. or something.
It was a very, very long day. We only took like 3 breaks.
Yeah, we stopped for
Lunch
lunch. We stopped
Dinner.
for dinner.
and a bathroom break.
Yes. So we went hard the whole day. Now
I'm proud of us for
it was
doing that. That was
intense.
that was a workout.
It was very intense. And so we did a pickup shoot in March, later on in March, where we did interview. We did some other shots of your studio and of the various sets. And then it just kind of left it. And to Nick's credit, he's been very patient with me through the whole editing process.
We also started. Well,
We started the podcast.
We rebooted.
we rebooted your podcast.
the podcast, so that's taken up some time.
Yeah, in general, our lives have been pretty busy the last year or so.
Yeah.
I've had
Especially yours.
Yeah, I've had a terrible case of creator block since like 2019. So
So this is a nice change of pace for you. Is
yeah,
what you're saying.
you know, it felt when this finally. So I did the first minute or two, the intro sequence. Effectively, I did that over the course of like a weekend or a week late last year.
We showed it at the Super Bowl
We
party.
showed it at the Super Bowl. I did not expect the Super Bowl to turn into a screening.
Look, some people wanted to watch the halftime show, but most of us, the halftime show for most of us was the 1.5-minute preview for this very video.
My roommates turned it into a showing of my channel, which
It
was
was hilarious. It was so fun.
It was a lot of fun.
I particularly loved the video of the helicopter coming down and blowing over all the porta potties.
That was not mine. That was Kyle's.
But that was
great.
It was so funny.
I witnessed that in person. It was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. But yeah, so Nick waited very patiently, and then finally I got like the last 75% of this video done in the last couple of weeks here. Finally got the inspiration.
So I have not seen this yet.
Nick has not seen this. Part of this behind the scenes here, we're not just talking about this. We're gonna
react to it.
Yeah, Nick's gonna react to it. I know that Kyle has seen it. Our other co-host John has seen it, and then my girlfriend saw it. Had to get some feedback.
I would expect that.
Yeah. So, all that being said, are you ready?
Let's do it.
So we're gonna take off our headsets here because I couldn't find a better way to put this into the board here without delaying the audio. So I'm just gonna, there we go.
I still love that intro.
Yeah, I'll put a little feed here in the bottom for everyone to watch with us.
A long time ago in an apartment far, far away.
So I'm Nick.
Falcon looks so
and
good.
I am a Lego
that
collector.
I love that.
I am primarily a Star Wars Lego collector, but I have a little bit of other themes integrated in there as well. Like I have a couple MCU, Marvel.
Oh, that's a
Universe
good
Lego
one.
Sets, and I have
I love the
giant
Benatar
Hogwarts
set.
castle. Just the amount of detail is really astounding.
Kind of wish I had the Back to the Future car
Oh, the DeLorean.
Yeah.
Favorites
at the time we made this video.
UCS Imperial Star Destroyer. It's a set that demands its attention.
Yeah, it does.
The
Yeah.
Ultimate Collector's Y-Wing.
That's all this you've seen before.
I've seen this part of it. Yes.
Yeah.
Ship. March 2022, Thor's hammer hit the shelves. And then,
Epic.
of course, there is...
Check that out in our Thor podcast video.
Yeah.
Ultimate Collector's edition of the iconic Millennium Falcon.
Iconic doesn't even sell this quite enough.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I love the original jokey subtitle for this.
Goodness, this is going to take a while. I didn't realize how hard this was going to be.
Oh, it's so
Makes the
jazzy. I
Falcon
love it.
stand out amongst a lot of them is one, just the fact that it is what it is. Like it's the Millennium Falcon, and also like just all the detail that is packed into it, and even some of the little hidden functions that match the movie pretty much exactly. Just even before unboxing it, it probably weighs around 30 pounds.
How big is the box?
Yeah, it's 21 inches long, 15 inches wide, and 18 inches tall.
The AT-AT box is a
There's
little bit
difference
smaller.
between
I carried
getting
that
your
through the Mall of
regular
America.
Lego instruction manuals, and then you open the box and release a massive spiral-bound book. I don't think the hands do it justice.
I love that shot. It's just whump.
I have got my work cut out for me here. Where's that original box? Just so I know what's inside it. Sometimes you have all the pieces that you can just like dump out, right? But in some cases, and the Falcon being a really good example of this, you have 4 smaller boxes inside the really big box. So this one in particular, I have to have one bag out at a time because sometimes one module of the build has like 4 or 5 bags that go with it. So I have to use like the entire space on my table.
So
Oh, good
just
grief.
for one bag.
The AT-AT and the Razor Crest did not have this problem.
That's what you get for buying an $800 Lego set. The building process on the Falcon is really just it's enjoyable pretty much all the way through. 7,
Immediately just accounting bricks.
11, 12. Okay, so we got half of them here. I did say almost all the way through because early on in the build, after you get the whole frame structure put together,
Which is already massive.
you
Yeah.
have to build the thing it stands on, which is its landing gear, which it's like, oh cool, next to your function, till you realize there's 7 of those. See, this is like the first familiar glimpse we get of this model. Like, I love putting together the little details, seeing what parts they use, building the small interior sections of the ship. This is the main hold with the chessboard, the hollow chessboard.
Tell I'm still a little groggy.
and
Yeah.
Just in general, some just really fantastic detailing. Building the gun turrets in particular is interesting because you have a rounded piece where you're building in all sorts of weird and different directions just to give it a circular look.
I love that.
That's
view.
a good shot. That looks just like the movie.
It's so good.
So it's got this rubber stopper so the panel doesn't like slide around or anything as you're moving it. But you slide this panel right here and the blaster drops down and you can actually spin it to target ground troops that are approaching.
Probably my favorite function in the end.
It's really great.
It's very niche and it's executed perfectly.
Yeah.
The panel in place. Every Lego set is different, and every Lego set has their own unique building experience. Like, there are some sets out there that I can't wait to build that I'm sure I'm gonna be like, oh, that's really cool how this is. Like, the helmet collection that started a couple years ago is an awesome example.
Oh, nice.
Of really interesting techniques that you can put into it. The Falcon is a good example of why I do enjoy building Lego. Like, I remember going to the Lego store for the past 4 years, and every time I went in there, I would see this.
Nice.
And I'd always have to look at it through the glass case and be like, oh, this is so cool. But having it in front of you is an entirely different thing. You can really take it in because there's not something like blocking you from looking at it. Like, it's right there. You can actually look closely at the details. Especially with the fact that it took 14
That's
and a half
clean.
hours
I love how you did that,
to
by the
build
way.
this model.
You got to do that with big
Like-
stickers like that.
A huge
Oh, look at that. What a beast.
It's really hard to put into words. You kind of just have to experience it for yourself.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah. Good job, man.
Yeah. Good job to you.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to put that together. I did a lot of soul searching with this edit. So if you're on my channel, you kind of know I haven't posted a lot in the last couple of years. And so life has been pretty busy for me, making a lot of friends and hang out, including this fellow here, this wonderful fellow. And so with this edit, I was really trying to get back into a groove of like putting stuff together. I found out I really like jazz music for the background.
You need to come swing dancing with us. You laugh, but I'm serious.
No, I know there's a lot of really good swing dancing functions in the cities.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a good date night idea for you and Rochelle.
That's fair. But yeah, there was a lot of trying to figure out what exactly to do with this edit, and there were times I actually considered shifting the direction entirely to weaving it into like this larger narrative about my experience with Legos, because I was very much like a kid who loved Legos and loved these different sets, and I had a lot of Lego Star Wars. I obviously never quite amassed a collection like you have here, and I think there's
not a lot of people do.
well, and there's a part of me, there's a child within me, right, that really dreamed to be in the position that you're in, right? Of this is the passion that you get to put your resources into and enjoy. And I know, like, especially you like to rotate your sets out, right?
My collection cycle. The only things that really stay are like the ones that are like meant to be displayed.
Yeah.
But and like
the Falcon.
oh yeah, the Falcon's not
Plus,
living.
I can't imagine you taking that whole thing apart.
I
mean,
have done that
You have?
more than once.
How long does it take, like, when you're not pushing for getting it done in a day, right? Or are you pushing to get it done in a day most of the
Oh, I don't know. I don't push to get it done in the day. It's just kind of whenever I have time.
How long on average do you think it's taken, right, when you last did it?
up to a couple weeks.
Wow. So you really are like taking parts of this build apart.
Well, I will say this too, that because the Falcon has known no other home than the one I'm in right now.
Yes, that was a brand new one, right?
Yeah, that was that might have been the first Lego set I bought after I moved here.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Because you're still like, you've only been here for like a little over a year now, right? Year and change?
Actually, about a year and a half.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I remember when I was moving my collection from. Now, granted, the biggest thing in my collection, and like when I moved up from River Falls, was actually the Mos Eisley Cantina.
Oh, yeah.
That was the biggest one I had, and then but that's when I moved from River Falls back to Mount Amidai, and was like my parents' house because I lived there for a few months, and while I lived in my parents' house is when I got that.
Yeah.
And that became the new king of the collection. And then when I moved here, is kind of when I'm just like, it's time.
Yeah. Well, and I know that at least Lego, the company, for a really long time, did not seem to recognize that there was this whole generation of kids that grew up loving Legos and wanting more of a challenge with sets and wanting sets that truly were like took some idea or some concept or some ship, like the Star Destroyers, for example, and just brought it to this scale of like almost like, I don't know if intimate's the word, like intimate detail, right? Where you're really just like putting together every facet
actually,
of this thing.
In like 2000, like Star Wars actually had been doing that almost from the get-go.
Yeah, they were one of the first.
They were other like adult oriented models, but like Star Wars was the first one that's just like, this is for grown-ups.
Yeah.
And
you see it in the packaging too, because the packaging is very minimal and like UCS, right?
Well,
they have a distinctive UCS.
Well,
branding.
in 2020, they started the whole like 18 plus line.
Okay.
Which is where you get like the classy, like there's no like background like art. It's a black box with the model front and center.
I mean, I don't think
it's branded 18 plus.
Yeah.
Which is like, and it's like, it's not necessarily that it's like, if you're 14, you want to do that. It's like, sure, like you can do that. But it's basically saying like
it's marketed
to the adult community.
Yeah, because also like what kind of 14-year-old kid has $800 to spend on a Lego set?
Right. Well, and the nice thing about the 18 plus line is there are also some like there are 18 plus sets out there that exist. Like the helmet collection, like they're like $60 or $70 a piece.
Yes, that's a good point.
It's one of those things where it's like the price doesn't determine whether it's adult oriented, but like but it's like it's very much like the displayability factor is what makes it more adult oriented. And like and it's like if you ever get the experience of building some of these helmets, which you should, because they are, it's like you realize
we're staring at them for those of you watching right now. We're staring at like a whole line of them on top of the shelf.
And I have these actually displayed in order of release. So like the TIE Pilot and the Stormtrooper and Boba Fett were the original three, and like the techniques are like mostly pretty basic.
Yeah.
Where it's like you kind of start like with a cube with like the studs facing outward, and you're just putting panels, which all the helmets are like that.
Well, yeah.
But then you get to building, like I think the helmets up there that I say have the most interesting building experiences are Vader.
Mm-hmm.
Because like there's some angles in there that you're just like, this should not even be possible.
Can I guess the other one? I think it's the Rebel flight helmet.
It is the Rebel. It is.
That looks fantastic.
Yeah, and I know that because usually like when they do helmet, and they've done other like helmets on other themes too. Like they've done like they've done something with Marvel. They had some Batman helmets come out.
Mm-hmm.
And like there was a Batman helmet which I actually briefly owned for a little while that attempted like kind of a more open concept.
Yeah.
But it was really weirdly executed. and the Rebel pilot helmet was the first to like kind of do like not necessarily have like something in front of the stand, but it's like it's just a taller stand that goes straight through it. It's almost like the helmet is sitting on top of a display, which is kind of how these all are.
Yeah.
Except like you can't remove the helmet from the stand, except for
Is the far right one the Death Trooper from Rogue One?
No, it's a TIE fighter pilot.
Oh. Okay.
Oh, or the far right?
Yes, far right.
No, that is Dark Trooper from The Mandalorian.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so there's some it's very interesting the way, and like I think it's what's really cool is like you get Boba Fett's helmet, and then a couple years later they have like Din Djarin, the Mandalorian's helmet.
Yeah.
Where it's like it looks very similar, but if you look closely enough, like it's actually constructed very differently. Like in Boba, like because Mandalorian helmets they kind of like taper a little bit.
Yep.
With Boba's, it's like straight on because like you know they were kind of starting to figure it out. But if you look closely at Din Djarin's helmet, it does taper ever so slightly. They actually even did that with Commander Cody's helmet. If you look at the sides, it tapers in just slightly.
Yeah. It's really
to make it look
impressive.
really realistic.
It's really impressive what they put into it.
Yeah, and you know it's like it's not always completely accurate. Like there's some compromises you have to make in order for like the design to work. But like you can't. But I look past this because it's like it's impressive that they even accomplished this.
Yeah.
They also start releasing a line of dioramas, which you can also see up there.
Yeah, there's just a ton of them.
Yeah. They're coming out with more this year. Like I think the ones rumored this year in commemoration of Return of the Jedi, I know are like the Emperor's Throne Room.
Ooh.
The speeder bike chase on Endor. I know those two for sure are. And I think there was at one point it was rumored that they would get like Jabba's throne room. I don't know if that one's gonna happen, but I know like the Emperor's throne room and the speeder bike, like where Luke and Leia are chasing the scout troopers in the forest. Yeah, that's those. I know those two are coming this year, and like I can't wait to see what those look like.
Yeah. So one thing that was really interesting. So there's some content that we shot that didn't make it into this. One of them was I had some footage of us going to Burger King for lunch.
Oh, that's right. I forgot we filmed that.
I actually had a segment of this cut up and I was trying to fit it into the video because there's one point where something, I don't know what it was. Our order came out to 1989. And as we're wheeling away, you mentioned that like that's the year that was a Back to the Future 2 came out.
Yeah.
Or something like that. And like the shot cut so quickly after you said that, and I shouldn't have done that. And it would have been good to use.
Didn't the battery run out?
Maybe that was the case.
I think that's what happened.
That would check out. But yeah, like to give you guys some perspective, it was so cold that when we were ordering at Burger King, we couldn't do combos because they said the pop lines, depending on where you are in the US.
That's right. I forgot about that.
I'm from St. Louis, so the soda lines were frozen, and they actually like could not pour soda for you.
I forgot about that. Oh, that was hilarious.
So we're driving over in your Mazda, and I noticed actually like
and the Burger King is like not even like a mile.
It's not
from
far.
Here. It's in walking distance, which is really nice.
But yeah, not in the cold. It wasn't. We drove, but I got like this little bit of footage of us getting lunch, and I think it would have been fun in retrospect to have some more vlog. We tried to kind of film parts of it as like a vlog.
That was the original idea, which is why we time lapse, which is why we filmed like literally the entire build. Yeah,
like we had a whole like MTV Cribs style intro of you like walking me through your apartment. The one thing I was trying to avoid was like me being too much of a character. Because I was like,
I mean, that's hard to do even off camera.
Yeah, fair point. Where's the thing? Yeah. Oh wait, the effects thing is off at the moment, so I can't.
What did you?
Yeah, big old air horn. But yeah, so like I know we were trying, there were a couple of different styles that I had in mind that I was trying to shoot for. And I think at the end of the day, I didn't really get enough to make like a proper vlog thing out of it. I suppose it could be like a director's cut edit where it's just like I know there's like some clips that are really long on my secondary camera that were just a wide shot this way at the table of you building. And also there's like 4 to 6 hours worth of just lapel mic audio.
Yep. That sounds right.
Actually, I couldn't get it to sync with the individual clips in the video. So all of those clips of you building that had that audio, I had to manually hunt for those clips of audio.
No way. Actually,
Cut them. I got actually kind of lucky.
I could not. Yeah.
It only took me about 20 minutes.
Tell.
Yeah.
It was pretty seamless.
Yeah, well, and I did a pretty decent job like manually syncing it, but I had to hunt through all of your audio
That's insane.
to find the
Holy
clips.
cow.
So it was fantastic. But yeah, just like some behind the scenes glimpses at editing the video. But this was a really fun project.
Yeah, this was one of my this was one of the most fun things I did that year.
Yeah, this was a blast, and seeing it all come together. You know, I feel like I go through a roller coaster with every project I do, where it's like there are times where I'm like, oh, this is the worst thing I've ever shot. And and there, you know, you start to make some progress. And I remember when I did the intro sequence, I was like, all right, like that first minute, 2 minutes or so felt really good. And then just like wall.
Just a slump.
Yeah, and just like,
Yeah, I
I
get
don't know
that.
what I'm going to do with the rest. And, you know, I'm like sitting there listening to Soundstripe for hours trying to find like the right music. And at the end of the day, I'm just like, yeah, just throwing some jazz. You know, like it works
I
really
think
well.
jazz really works for this kind of thing.
Yeah, it's fun. I like editing with jazz because it feels so chill. And if that's the vibe you're going for when you're making a video like this, then it absolutely works. So, yeah. So thank you for
Yeah.
waiting very patiently for a year.
Thank you for. I did not wait for a year.
You did.
I waited for a month.
You waited for a year.
I waited for a year for this project to be completed. I waited for a month to actually put the damn
That's
thing
fair.
together.
That was probably the worst wait, honestly.
that was worse than this.
Yeah. No, I felt bad about that. I was like, man, I'm really just holding him back from greatness.
Although I will say that for the TIE Bomber, I actually built that 2 weeks after I bought it.
Oh, so you waited a little bit.
My patience game got really good after that month.
Yeah. I really had you sticking around for that. But
Thank
That's
you
last.
for this project.
yeah,
This is really cool.
this is fantastic.
I can't wait for the public to see it.
Yeah. No, this is, well, I mean, if they're watching this right now, then they've seen it. Probably it's out. So go check it out on Cubicle Productions. And yeah,
And make sure also to check out the Genesius podcast.
3 Catholic dudes talk about movies.
Pretty good movies. Yeah, it's great. So you said is this video coming out Friday?
I don't have a set timeline for this video.
Okay. Well, by the time this comes out, our Passion of the Christ episode will
Passion of the
will
Christ is
definitely
out.
been out.
Excellent. We've also done some amazing episodes on like Spy Kids 3D, The Princess Bride,
Pitch Perfect.
Pitch Perfect.
Pitch Perfect was fun. That was fun.
That was fantastic.
Brian, oh man,
Brian did a great job.
I loved having Brian on as a guest.
Yeah, he was fantastic.
And then our Captain America episode is coming out.
Yeah, we got a Captain America
Next
one.
week.
We're doing a little side podcast within a podcast of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Infinity Saga, and we're doing Phase 1 at the moment. So be sure to catch the latest on that.
Oh, then we could do Indiana Jones.
Yeah,
I can't wait to watch those movies.
yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. So, all right, well, thank you,
Yeah.
Nick. It's really awesome.
Thank you.
The handshake, yeah, that's awesome. No, this has been an incredible experience, and I'm glad that we got a really wonderful video out of it. So,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Awesome.
This was a good time.
thank you all for watching. If you really enjoyed this, like, comment, subscribe, regardless of which channel you're on. And we'll see you
We'll see you whenever the next podcast
whenever the
comes
next
out.
podcast is, or if you're on my channel, whenever the next video is. So, all right, take care, guys.
Yeah.
And I'm not even going to fade it. I'm just going to cut it.
Bye.